Welcome back to a new episode on the Story Slam series, and today we'll be hearing Soren Shahan's story.
Hi, everybody. I don't have any papers or anything because this was very much a last-minute decision. But hearing everyone else's stories inspired me to tell one of my own. So this is the story of my first Pride Parade, which is relevant because my first Pride Parade was in Cologne, Germany. So for a little bit of background, I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware, and Wilmington actually has a sister city in Germany, this tiny town called Fulda. And so I was part of a community choir in Wilmington, and we, every couple years or so, either the youth orchestra they have in Fulda would come to Wilmington, or we would go there. So the summer after my freshman year of high school, I went to Fulda, and the first week was entirely in Fulda. We stayed in a hostel. We performed with the Fulda Youth Orchestra. We got to see all of the cool pretty architecture. It was very nice. And there are a lot of stories that I could tell about that. But then the second week is when we went to more of the regular touristy places in Germany, including Cologne. So us being in Cologne during Pride was entirely by accident. I don't think my choir directors really looked at our agenda for the trip and were like, hey, Cologne, we're gonna be there during Pride. You know, it would have been cool if they had done that. But it was just a happy accident. I had never been to a Pride before. I knew that I was queer. I didn't really know to what extent I was queer at that point. And I also had just been too busy to really ever go to a Pride Parade. And the closest one would have been Philadelphia, which was an hour away. Small town things. But we were in Cologne, and we just saw all of these people with pride flags just everywhere. And we were able to find a shop that was selling the big pride flags that you can get and hang on your wall for 10 euros. And we all had too much spending money, so we all got pride flags. Even the people that I hadn't previously assumed were queer or didn't know they were queer yet, we all got them. I wore mine around like a cape the entire day. We had to take them off when we went into the church because my choir directors didn't want to cause any controversy or whatever. But apart from that, for the rest of the day, all throughout Cologne, I was just wearing that big old pride flag like a cape. Like I said before, I knew that I was queer. I wasn't even fully aware of who I was at that point. I didn't know that I was trans first of all. I didn't know that part about myself, and all I knew is that I liked girls maybe a little more than I should. But just being surrounded by all of these different people wearing rainbows and all the other wonderful pride flags that there are, it filled me with just this incredible feeling of belonging. And let me clarify, I've always been supported by the people around me. I had just never seen that much color in one place before. It was one of the highlights of my trip, of that entire 2 weeks, and it's something I will never forget. So yeah, thank you.